AITAH, me, 25, and my wife, 23, have been married for close to 5 years and have two kids, 4 months and 7 months, and we've had our ups and downs. She's has always had guy friends that I've let her hang out with some of them so I wouldn't feel controlling. She has been caught texting one that caused us issues. He used a fake profile and she tried to lie initially about being confronted about it but gave in. This is where my mistrust began. The next incident was from a co-worker she was hanging out with. He had confessed his love for her, and she had shut him down, as far as I know. About 3 weeks ago, he had been hanging out at our house for a few hours. More details there that's not shared. But after I came home from work, he left abruptly. About 30 minutes later, her phone, which was laying beside me, so I glanced at the screen out of habit of my own and saw he had said, "I wish I could have kissed you when you were on top." I got an immediate adrenaline rush and got heated, but I told her I was going for a walk due to what I had seen and that it feels like there was missing context. I didn't want to blow up completely for a reason that I didn't fully have an understanding/story of. She exclaimed that she had hugged him, which is why he had said on top. There are a few more such events, but for the sake of my fingers, I'll get to my point since I established some form of background about our past issues like the current one. So here recently started hanging out with this guy she's only known for like a couple days, but she's been going with since last week. She told me it was for my kids since this dude has kids that they could be friends and play together and such. They've hung out 3 times now in a week. First time was a play date at a park. He picks her up at the house since my vehicle is broken down at the moment. Well, they were gone approximately 2 to 3 hours. Well, the next day she stayed home, and then the next day they wanted to let the kids play again. I had no issues with it but had voiced my concerns about it being someone I didn't know, but I figured it would benefit my child, so I let her go at around 11 a.m. She was gone all day till 9:40 p.m., which she wasn't supposed to be out that late, and hadn't texted me all day about anything. And when she had gotten home, she proceeded to say that they found it too cold to allow them to play at a park, so they went to his house. She had both children with her. I got upset and felt disrespected by her actions, and let her know she could have least talked to me about the situation and discussed. She got upset herself and seemed to argue like I wasn't allowed to feel that way, since it was just a friend. Well, today we had been talking, and I had said I was going to my dad's house to clear my head, since all of our arguments, which not only included the above, but minor incidents where she would get upset and start fights over practically nothing, and threatening divorce with lines like, "We aren't getting along, and it's basically because of you," which most fights stem from her postpartum and depression she has developed with both children and lack of medication she had been on since I met her. She says this, which she can't take due to her breastfeeding, which I wholeheartedly support. She had mental issues from her ex. Well, she got picked up around 3 p.m. to get things off of our WIC before it re-rolled, and the dude couldn't do it Thursday, so it was fine to go today, which I left shortly after. She has the kids. Well, I'm at my father's house, and I'm texting her occasionally, and I had brought up the fact I knew this dude's ex-wife from my high school days. She kinda got defensive saying, "Why you looking into him?" and that I am being paranoid. I had said I showed a picture of him to my aunt who told me the info. Me and my wife had discussed this previously about knowing his ex, so I really didn't search into him for this info as I believe I didn't need to. Well, I asked, "Have you made it home safely?" and she said she was almost home about 15 minutes out. This was about 8 p.m. I asked once again if she had made it. She's replied, "Why lol?" I said, "JW?" She replies, "That's kinda odd." I replied back, "Well, you're my wife, I'd like to know if you've made it home." She just says, "Okay," to which I respond, "You aren't home, are you?" No replies, no answers to the phone calls. I have my dad take me home, and the way past the church, before my house, I spot his vehicle in an alley beside it. We continued to my house thinking that wasn't them. We park in my drive and they pull and up and go to turn around. I run up saying, "Get out to the dude," because it's fishy to be sitting in an alley instead of going straight home. He proceeds to drive off and she calls the police, or so she says. I firmly believe that there was something going on for them to be sitting in an alley, so I ask AITAH for how I responded to this situation, and what advice could you find people enlighten me with on what to do. She hasn't texted back to anything or answering my calls.